Have you ever tried hand painting a cookie? Some people might think it's tough or maybe confusing, but I think it's so fun. And I know it's simple, and I'm gonna show you how to do that. Hi, I'm Lauren from Lolly's Home Kitchen. You can call me Lolly. And in this video, I'm gonna share a couple of techniques that will make all the difference and help you level up your cookie decorating skills and make hand painting on cookies fun for you too. So let's dive straight in. This is one of my favorite things to do on cookies, and hand painting cookies actually is kind of like opening a coloring book and grabbing the crayons or your favorite markers and laying some color down. So a couple of cookies I have for you that I'm gonna show you how to decorate is basically just white icing. I put white icing down, done some layers of white icing to create some dimension, and we're gonna start coloring on those. So for this first one, I just used a palette knife actually to flood the cookie. It's just like a thin layer of icing, or you can just do a whole flood if you want to, if you want that look. And then I took some thicker icing on top of that and made, this is kind of like a tree branch and leaves. And so that's the one we're gonna do first. I love to use just gel colors. So gel food colors and water and a couple of good paintbrushes, right? So I've got a palette here, I've got some colors over here, I've got a couple of dishes of water. I have dried paper towels. I also have a damp paper towel because sometimes, depending on how much color that I want on the brush, just dabbing it on a damp paper towel is a little bit easier for me. And then I've got a whole plethora of brushes here. I've got some stubby ones, I've got different lengths and widths, and just depends on how much color you're wanting to lay down. If you want to do, you know, a technique with the fan brush, you can. But the ones I'm going to be mostly using right now for this specific cookie is, just a basic paintbrush. This one is a PME food safe paintbrush. I do have other brushes. I don't use them on anything else. If I ever use them on my cookies, they are only used on cookies. All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and start. I'm gonna get my brush wet, and then I'm gonna pick some colors. I wanna leave the background white, I think, and I wanna get some brown and maybe some greens mixed up. So I'm just gonna put a couple of drops. I'm gonna start with like, whoa, it comes out pretty quick. One drop of green. I want a couple of greens. So we're gonna turn this into like a painter's paint palette here. All right, got a few greens here. And then I'm gonna use a little bit of black too. I know I'm gonna want some darker color on this. Yeah, I've got some white as well. So this is bright white, and I'm gonna just load some of that there. Okay, now we're just gonna start adding some water to just a blank well here on your palette. Then I'm gonna dab a little bit of green, see what that turns. You do not need a ton of gel color for this. Like, it's just gonna start giving you a lot of color, even with just a tiny little bit here, right? But I wanna start off with the right green. And the right green might be a little bit different for you than it is for me, so I'm gonna show you the colors that I would use on this. You are welcome to switch them up if you want. All right, we're just gonna start putting some of this color down and seeing how it goes. Something that you wanna make sure of when you're painting on cookies like this is your flood and your icing has to be really, really dry, like bone dry. The drier it is, then the more success that you're gonna have with this. Also, you wanna make sure that your icing isn't too full of air, right? You don't wanna have overmixed icing. You wanna have a little bit more dense icing when you do this, because sometimes the water can start to eat away at the icing, so you don't want that to happen. And we're gonna work kind of quickly, but also make sure that we get to blend the colors. And anyway, let me show you, it's gonna be so much fun. Okay, so I'm just gonna get a base color down on here. Okay, now I'm gonna be adding more color over top. We're just gonna start with this, and you can add as little or a lot of color if you want. I'm actually gonna bring in some black here. Let's get some darker green going. All right, so doing some shading over here. So it doesn't take a lot of the gel color to start, you know, coloring that water. If you want to apply a denser amount of color, I mean, that's totally up to you. Once it's kind of on the icing, it won't blend as well. So keep that in mind. And I'm gonna just follow this down. We're gonna add some brown to this too, because these are kind of branches here. I'm gonna get some yellow in here. If you've got brown, you can do that, or you can mix up your green and yellows and a little bit of black. That'll help get kind of some brown colors. So I haven't put a lot of water in here quite yet. I will. I need a little bit of blue. I'm gonna add a little bit of blue to pull from too. If you have, you know, pinks or reds, yellows, and blues, you can make any color. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and add in some pink here too to make this brown. All right, so this is a little bit thicker. Got this a little bit thicker on here right now. And then I'm gonna apply a little bit of this up here too. So I'm kind of, you know, painting in sections of color here. The eye does a really cool thing when it looks at something like this. It kind of takes all of the blocks and sections of color and blends them together. You don't have to fully blend everything together if you don't want to. I'll darken up some of this here. All right, I'm gonna do some lighter spots too here. So this bright white, it's kind of opaque. So it's gonna help give me some highlights in here too. And just play around with all of the gel colors and see what mixes you like. And go from there. All right, I'm gonna add a little bit more highlight. So you can let that dry and you can come back and add some more color too if you want to. All right, before I show you my other design and show you how to hand paint that one, I have to thank you so much for watching this video. If you want to amaze your friends and family with the most awesome looking cookies they've ever seen, you're in the right place. This channel is where deliciousness meets joy, and we're all about having fun with cookies here. We'll show you how to make cookies that look impressive but are easy to make. Please do me a favor, like this video, subscribe to this channel, hit the notification bell, and share this channel with any of your friends and family that you would love to have join you. It really does help out a lot. Okay, let me get back to the video now, and I'm gonna show you how to hand paint this daisy that I have here. So I'm gonna put this one, my leaves and my branch off to the side. Again, you can come back and add some layers to that if you want. But this daisy, we're gonna add some other fun colors here. Let me show you how to do that. I'm gonna change up my water really quickly. I wanna get some fresh water. All right, let me just grab a little bit of fresh water here. And we're gonna go right into some pink. So I've got some pink over here. I'm gonna grab that, and I've got another well over here. So I wanna add a little bit of white, tone it down just a tad. Actually, I'm gonna add just a tiny bit of blue too. Turn it into purple. So the white is gonna make your paint maybe a little bit more opaque. So if you want that kind of watercolor look, a little bit more translucent look, then just make sure you use water with your gel colors and not the white. All right, I'm gonna apply some base color to these. So this icing, oh my gosh, it was so nice and puffy when I did it. So I've got some really nice dimension here. So I am gonna turn my cookie so I can get all of the edges. And then I did multiple layers. So I did like the base, and then I actually have kind of a background around the flower, and then the actual petal leaves on top. Okay, so now I wanna get some yellow. I'm gonna do a yellow center. And I'm not gonna mix it with anything. I just want a nice bright yellow center. And then just be careful, if you don't want that mixing with any of your pink or petal colors that you have, just be careful with that there. So I'm gonna come back and do some more petal work, but right now I'm gonna put on some green down here. Got a really nice spring green going on. All right, I'm gonna go back and put some more pink. Actually, I'm gonna go just a use this part of my paint palette up here. I'm running out of space, but that's okay. All right, we're just gonna do a little bit of bright pink, a little bit more translucent. And that's gonna layer over top of this one that I already did. It's really cool because as the paint, gel color paint, dries on the cookie, it kind of starts to take on a little bit of personality and dimension and kind of that organic feel too, which is really, really fun. So I'm gonna stop there. I'm gonna leave a little bit of white space around that center. And there we go. I'm happy with that. So there's my flower all done. It's got a ton of dimension, just painted it right on like out of a coloring book. It was so fun. After watching me paint these two cookies, you have to tell me, do you like more of an opaque paint look or do you love more of that transparent watercolor look? Tell me in the comments below. There's nothing I love more than getting together with family and sharing cookies that look amazing and taste even better. I mean, who doesn't love that, right? One of my favorite designs are these cute heart-shaped pizza cookies. They always make a splash, and best of all, they're super easy to make. If you want to whip up a batch, then make sure you grab my heart pizza cookie icing transfer templates, available for free by clicking the link in the description below. They're so easy, so fun. You're gonna love them. Click the link, download those icing transfer templates right now.